Hello, I'm going to show you how to set up the two-factor authentication in Bluestreak. It's been there for a number of years, but if you're a cloud user and we host your site, then we are going to be requiring the two-factor authentication be set up on every user's account. So I'll show you how to do that, and from an admin how to reset things if you need to. Now when you go to log in, your checkbox will say remember me, not ignore remember me. That's something I have here so I can show you how the two-factor works. Normally, if you have that remember me checked, what happens is that whether you've got two-factor authentication on or not, it'll remember that user on that browser, on that device. So for the day. So you won't have to log in again. And it's the same thing with two-factor. Once you put it in for the day and you have that remember me checked, then you'll only have to enter it once per day, but the next day you will have to enter it in again. So I'm going to log in under this user, this faux Todd, and we come in. Now, as a user to do this, set up two-factor authentication, what you do is go over to the little button here with the gear, user's name on it, click on that, and then go to two-factor authentication. And there are a number of links here where you can take a look at what is two-factor authentication, and then this Google Authenticator app that gives you a link to the Google Authenticator, which is the one that we use and probably recommend that you use, but there's a number of authenticator apps out there. So this would be the app on a phone. So whether it's an iPhone or an Android, you can download the app. And this is if you're going to use, if you need an authenticator, but the person for some reason doesn't have a smartphone. So you can set up an authenticator application, and I'll show you Authy, but this will give you, I think, 3 different applications and describe them, how to use it. So basically a user comes in here, just clicks a checkbox, says use two-factor authentication. That'll give them some more text here, and then the key point here is this create new secret. Now this is a one-time thing, we can't get it back again, so this is only pops up when this one time when you click the button. If somebody runs over their cell phone and they have the two-factor app on there, there's no way to recreate this secret. It's a one-time shot. So what you do is, from an admin standpoint, you turn it off and then they can set up a new one. It's not a big deal to do that. So I'm going to say click new secret. So what you'll get here is this QR code, which you can scan with an app on a phone, smartphone. That's about it. I'll show you what that looks like on my iPhone. And then, let's see here, put this up. Okay, so there's a number of authenticator apps I have here. The one on the left here, this is the Google Authenticator. That's the one that we recommend. I've got a whole bunch set up there already. But we'll take a look. I'm going to go to this authenticator. So we have a single one, so you see more like what it looks like. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to add something. So what you'll do is you'll get, I went real quick, but you get the cameras enabled, and you just point anywhere near this QR code, and it'll register it. And see, now this is a number that's going to change every 30 seconds. And you don't need any more than 6 digits. That's plenty. There are some options. Some of these give you options for more, but every 30 seconds this changes. So this is the number you put in. And to accept this now, to make sure it really works, you have to put in this test code. So I'm going to enter 352994. And don't hit enter, click test code. And then if that works, if the number you put in matches, then you get this little success, and you know you're good to go then at that point. If I put in something that didn't match, then it'll tell you that, and you might have transposed numbers or something. Now this rotates every 30 seconds, but in reality, what we're doing is probably a couple minutes. something like that, just because it's based on time on the server and time on the device or the computer. So just to make sure that you don't get locked out because your time is 32 seconds difference. So we changed it, so we allowed open up for like 2.5 minutes, something like that. So in reality, you can have 4 or 5 of these codes will actually work at any given point in time. So that's basically how that works. Now I'm done here, so all I have to do is hit close, and then I will log out. And so this is what the user would actually see. So they would log in and put their username and password as normal, and then we get this authentication code they have to put in. So here they have to enter this number in, or copy paste it in if they're using this an app on the computer. I'll show you what that looks like too, pretty similar. But I put in that number, 863-724. And here I can hit enter or click to continue. If it's correct, I'm logged in and I'm good to go. And then what happens if I had that selected, I'll log out again. And if I had this selected on yours would say remember me. If I had that selected, then I won't have to authenticate. Use the two-factor next time I log in. So that works great. So if for some reason, now I'm going to show just kind of redoing this. So I'm going to go back to two-factor if I want to get rid of it as a user. Now we won't allow a user to do this in the future, but I get rid of that two-factor authentication, and now it's gone. So when I log in, I don't need it. And so I will show you with that, just like normally what you see right now. You just kind of log in. Now I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to show another app. So this is a phone app, and if you're not using a phone app, then you can use something. Authy is one of these that'll work on multiple operating systems. Same thing though. So I would do two-factor authentication, click this button to create my secret. I have this. Now you're not going to be able to scan it, but what you have down here is a text. And what you do is just highlight that, copy it, and then you can build it, put it in here, and say I'm going to add that account, and I'll pick a blue, and I'll say it's Blue Streak. 6 digit, 7, 8 digit, you only need 6, just leave it there. And there it is. Same thing, except it's an app on my computer now. And I can actually copy, you can copy this to the clipboard and paste it in or type it in. But in order to complete this, you gotta do one test code. So I'm gonna do a 301064. Click the test code button and it's good. So I'm good to go. So now if I close this down, I log out again as this user, and when I'm coming in the first time during the day, it's going to ask me for that, and I have to put that in. 967-356. And if it's good, then I get in. If it's bad, it'll tell me that the code's not correct. So that's really all it is. To get it set up, the user just has to do this once. It's no big deal to do it. You can use an app on the computer. However, the best way to do it is to use a smartphone. So if you have an employee that's got a smartphone, use a smartphone, because that's the point of the two-factor authentication. It's supposed to be on two different devices. So if this computer gets hacked, they can pull up this app too. So the two-factor authentication is of less usefulness that way. Two different devices is really the way to go. Now, from an admin standpoint, if, first of all, there's a system setting here, there's 73. So when you turn this on, and we'll turn it on for you. You can turn it on ahead of time, get this set up, get everybody using two-factor authentication before, I think it's May 1st, I think we are going to require it. But we will turn this on if it's not turned on by May 1st, but I suggest you turn it on yourself. And what that'll do is require a user that gives them 10 logins, effectively 10 days, to set up their two-factor authentication. at which point, and they'll be reminded you got 9 days left, you have 8 logins, 7 logins. And if they go through the whole amount of logins and they haven't done it, then they're locked out. And we'll be doing a little tweak here to allow you to reset that from an admin standpoint if you need to, but really people should be doing it right away. So that's where you turn it on. You won't be able to turn this off if you're in the cloud. And on the user side, if the user loses their device for some reason, then I can go and let me just refresh this page. Find my Photod user here and edit. So they lost their device, whatever it is, they can't log in with a two-factor authentication. You can go in here as an admin and click this delete secret button, and that'll remove the two-factor authentication on that user, and they'll be required to redo it again. And they'll probably have, you know, the 10 logins or something to do it again. So that's how to do it, how to fix it in case they lose their device or change phones, because that'll happen. Somebody changes a phone, this app is not going to come along with it. So they'll have to put the app back on and they'll have to register it again for the two-factor authentication. So that's how that works. Hopefully that explains. If you have any questions, just click on the help request on any page, and we'll get back to you real quick with an answer. So thanks for your time. Bye.